Where do I even start? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Doing another quick talking head video today. The 7900 XTX versus 1600 XT video is going to be coming soon for anybody interested in that. But I know you guys are probably getting a little tired of all the 7900 XTX content. I do have some other stuff in the works, but with all the controversy coming out around the 7900 XTX right now, I decided to give my little 2-week update on the graphics card and let you know how my reference model has been working for me in my current build. If you guys aren't familiar with what is going on with the 7900 XTX right now and what the controversy is all about, just to give a quick little recap, it all started with a lot of users of the AMD reference model having really high junction temperatures and experiencing some sort of thermal throttling from what I understand, or the card just overheating and not working properly in general. Now, what makes this such a problem is that when you look at the main GPU temps in software like MSI Afterburner, it looks like it's running as it should be. But when you take a closer look and look at the junction temperature of the GPU, some people were reaching up to 110 degrees Celsius, which is, in my opinion, probably way too hot for any graphics card. AMD then followed up and said that 100 degrees Celsius is within their comfortable operating temperature, which seemed to work for some people for a little while, and some just accepted that, okay, this must just be the safe operating temperature. Then a video came out and multiple sources have taken apart the AMD reference model and taken a look at the cooling solution. I believe it's some of the heat pipes that have some sort of liquid in it. I forget exactly what they're called. Basically, there's a liquid that gets up to an evaporating point, and then it kind of circulates around and helps cool the GPU. I know that was a really basic explanation, but you know, just trying to get through this quickly. Basically, something with those cooling pipes was not designed correctly. It seems that either they haven't put enough liquid into these pipes, or something else is going on entirely with the design, where the liquid stays in an evaporated form and then can't travel properly to do its cooling pattern that it's supposed to do. Now, I just wanted to toss my 2 cents in on this whole subject before I even get into my own personal experience with the 7900 XTX so far. I do think that they are probably going to be recalling these AMD models. It seems like a good chunk of customers have had this overheating issue, and it just seems like it's probably an inherent design flaw with this graphics card. And some people have remedied it by vertically mounting their GPU, and apparently horizontally mounting the graphics card is where you get the most issues. And that's why it led some to believe that it was just the circulation of the fluid within the cooling pipes. And I really think that this is just a gigantic blunder on AMD's end. Once again, it seems like the 7900 XTX is just way under delivering. AMD really needed to come out with an extremely solid product at a good price point that could compete with the 4080, and they kind of checked a few boxes, some of them not enough. And then on top of all that, AMD rears its ugly head again with a faulty design on their graphics card. You know, people have complained about AMD drivers, AMD, you know, just generalized build quality having issues and stuff. And for a long time, I think AMD has been getting a lot better with drivers and everything. I haven't really had any problems with AMD drivers in a very long time. But then when you go and you make hardware and build mistakes like this on your flagship card with your reference model, it really looks bad on your company. And I think that this could have a more widespread negative effect on AMD than what people probably realize. I think that's just the most disappointing part about all this for me, is that they had an amazing opportunity to take some market share from NVIDIA and actually show some real competition. In my opinion, the 7900 XTX is still a competitive card, but it really needed to be released at a cheaper price. Now with this new controversy coming out with a faulty design on the reference model, you're getting even more negative press on the product. than it was already getting. And you're not as popular as Nvidia, so you kind of just completely swindled any chance you had at getting a good foothold in this generation of PC builders. Moving on from all that, I'm sure you guys have heard me complain about it enough. I just wanted to go over my personal experience that I've had with the card in the past 2 weeks. I have actually been playing quite a bit more on this rig than I was before because I really wanted to stress out the 7900 XTX, and I was really happy that I could finally be playing some 4K games at home. A lot of the higher end hardware I keep at work in the office, so I usually leave some of the lower end stuff for myself. Like I was using a 3070 for a while, and then I decided on Black Friday to upgrade to a 6800 XT. And with the 7900 XTX, I haven't personally been experiencing any of the junction temperature issues that other people have. I have played the Spider-Man Remastered game for almost 50-60 hours on Steam so far, and some of that playtime's on the 6800 XT, but I've probably pumped in about 20 hours of playtime on that game alone. And once in a while, I usually play in my living room, but I kept the AMD Radeon settings open so I could just check the temperatures. I'd usually get up from the couch after having a decently long session, come in, take a quick look to see what the junction temperature is at, and for me, it never got past 80 degrees Celsius. I know that might not an issue for forever because I do not have mine vertically mounted. I have it horizontal. I don't think you can really see it right now, but I have heard that this issue for some has cropped up later on as the card has been, being used and sitting in the rig longer. So that's one thing that's worrying to me. Like I said, I really do think they're going to be doing a recall on these cards. But outside of Spider-Man Remastered, I've been playing some Modern Warfare 2. I've also been playing some Forza Horizon 5. And honestly, as many hours I've been pumping into all these games, I haven't really had any driver issues or anything like that. The one thing I ran into, and I kind of feel like this is more of a Spider-Man Remastered problem rather than like an AMD driver problem, because I was reading some reviews and just Steam posts about issues with Spider-Man Remastered crashing. The only time I ever actually got a crash in the game was when I was playing the DLC, and the credits would come up when I would finish one of the chapters, and the game would freeze, and it would say that one of my drivers just stopped working. It might be an AMD driver thing, could also be a Spider-Man Remastered thing, but the entire game would crash, and I'd get multiple errors, not only from AMD Radeon saying that something was wrong with the drivers, but also on the Spider-Man Remastered end saying that something was wrong with a certain driver. So leads me to believe it might be an AMD driver issue and maybe not the game, but I had also read that this was happening with Nvidia cards as well. Once I turned ray tracing off, it would load into the credits and cutscene just fine, and it wouldn't crash anymore. When it would crash, every time I tried to load the game with ray tracing enabled, it would just crash every time. Boom, boom, boom. But then once I turned it off, it loaded just fine. So it's kind of like a ray tracing thing. I'm not sure why the ray tracing was making it crash, but it was definitely like some sort of ray tracing issue within the game and the AMD driver not communicating for this specific cutscene only in the DLC, and I don't know why. It's just really strange. But outside of that, Modern Warfare 2, which, it seems like these AMD GPUs are really, really optimized for, was fantastic, perfect, didn't have any problems. Forza Horizon 5, same deal, really didn't have any issues. The Forza games always seem to run really well and solidly. I've never really heard of a whole lot of issues with the Forza games. And from my experience, they've been pretty good. So, like I said, I've been really stressing this guy out. I've been playing some pretty high-end titles. I've been playing at 4K, max settings. Only game I had problems with was one little thing in Spider-Man Remastered, and that's really been it. I don't want to project my experience onto what anybody else has been experiencing with the 7900 XTX, but for me, it's been a really fantastic card. I guess I just kind of want to put my experience out there, because if any of you guys are thinking about buying the card, I think it's a fantastic card, and I really think that you shouldn't get the reference model. But if you can find an AIB model, like the Sapphire one that came out, I think XFX came out with another, a model of their own as well. I think there's also an Asus Tough model out there too. Anyways, basically just don't get the reference model and get one of those for, I mean, usually they cost an extra $50, $100. That's pretty typical for a non-reference model to cost extra on top of that. It's going to have better cooling. It takes a little more supplemental power, which is fine. And you'll have the safety of knowing that you're not going to have the junction temp problems that you're experiencing, that many people are experiencing with the AMD reference model 7900 XTX. Anyways, kind of quick video out today, guys. This Thursday, if you follow my channel actively, I'm going to be putting out the 6800 XT versus 7900 XTX video. And then I think I'm going to take a little break on 7900 XTX coverage for a little while. And I'm going to move on to some other projects that I have been cooking up behind the scenes. I have a lot of stuff that's like half-baked and finished, so this video is kind of like a way for me to get something out while I polish up some of these other projects. So yeah, that's really all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your guys' opinions are on the 7900 XTX down in the comments. Like I said, personally for me, it's been a fantastic card so far, but I kind of just want to hear, you know, if you guys have a 7900 XTX, if you are having the same problems as, you know, other people are having, or, you know, what your opinion on AMD is now after this whole debacle has happened. Are you willing to get a 7900 XTX now, or is it off your radar because of AMD's blunder? Like I said, just let me know down in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in another video.